perception is pretty important. Without it, it's much harder to judge distances, catching balls, or working out how big something really is. In this picture, most people see the top row as sticking out and the next one as concave. But if we flip it upside down, you'll see the opposite. The second image here is just the first one rotated by 180 degrees. Now your brain assumes light is coming from the top of an image because that's how light tends to work here on Earth, and it uses that to make a guess as to the depth of the circle. But there are other ways you can perceive depth too. One of the reasons we're so good at perceiving depth is because we have two eyes, both pointing forwards, as most predators do. Each eye sees a slightly different image, and by combining these and assessing how similar the images are, we can calculate depth. To see this in action, put your finger in front of your face at arm's length and close one eye. Line your finger up with something in the distance, then switch to the other eye. Switch eyes a few times and watch what happens to your finger. Then try it again with your finger closer to your face. You should see the finger would jump much further when it's closer to your face than when it's further away. So our brains know that objects that give very different images in each eye are close to us, and ones that give very similar images are further away. Now, put your finger up at arm's length again, look at it, and bring it slowly towards you, focusing on it the whole time. What happens? Hopefully you can feel yourself starting to go cross-eyed. So your brain uses this as well to help work out distances. The greater the degree of convergence, or the more cross-eyed you are, the closer the object must be. But even with only one eye open, you still have some idea of distances. And this is because there are other cues that your brain can use. Lighting is one of them, as we mentioned earlier, but I'm going to tell you about a couple more now. One of these is known as motion parallax, and you might have experienced this on a train or in a car. If you look at objects that are far away, like trees on the horizon, they seem to be hardly moving at all, whereas close-by objects move very quickly across your visual field. This difference can be used to detect distances by us, even if you're only using one eye. And this is also why you might sometimes see birds bobbing their heads around. They're trying to get an idea of how far away something is. There are other tricks which are adopted by artists to create illusions of depth in flat images. Perspective is probably the most powerful of these and gives rise to some really interesting illusions. In this one, although both lines are actually the same length, the higher up one looks longer. This is because we assume it's further away, and therefore to appear the same size on our retina, it must be bigger in real life. So our brains effectively compensate for the difference and make us see it as larger than the other one. The same happens in this image. The cat at the top of the image is the same size as the one at the bottom, but we assume it's further away and therefore must be bigger. We also use cues like relative size. The cat is as big as the telephone pole in the distance, so it must be a giant cat. And we can use texture, like in this image. The sunflowers close to us have lots of detail, and that detail is lost as they get further away. So we use this fact, amongst other things, to help us determine depth. It's difficult to know for sure, but it seems likely that a lot of these cues, like perspective, detail and relative size, are learnt as we experience the world. We use our past experience of things that were far away to shape what we see today. Thanks for watching. Do you have any questions about how we see distance? Comment below and I'll try and answer them for you. There's also lots more information in the references below. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this, please hit like and subscribe for more videos. Until next time.